Special United Nations Green Ambassador Gérard Nsengiyumva, Special United Nations Green Ambassador Gérard Nsengiyumva, Special United Nations Green Ambassador Gérard Nsengiyumva. In May last year, 2025, I successfully learned and completed a course, Protection in Humanitarian Action. So I learned about how to make protection central to my work. It was a 3 hours clock time period, 100% online. The objectives of the course was to help me explain what protection is, its relevance for non-protection actors, and the roles and responsibilities of the actors involved in the broader humanitarian response. Second, to explain the concept of centrality of protection in humanitarian response. Third, to place protection at the center of humanitarian integrated programming or stand alone protection activities. The course was designed for individuals already involved in the humanitarian response at various levels, including government and authorities, officials. It targets both protection and non-protection actors. The main objective of the course was to demystify the notion of protection and clarify what centrality of protection means in practice. So by module 1, I learned websites where there are rich information resources about global protection, and that website is www.globalprotectioncluster.org. I also had some contact information. For instance, the Global Protection Cluster Operations Cell, it can be contacted at website online by email, by sending mail to gpc@unhcr.org. There is also gender-based violence that can be contacted by sending email to chase@unfpa.org. There is also child protection that can be contacted by email to rpowels@unicef.org. I repeat, RPOWELS@unicef.org. There is also some email for housing, land, and property. GIM.ROBINSON at nrc.no. About mining action, we have UNMASGENEVA at un.org. Global Protection Cluster Strategy 2025-2030, that is one of the resources. There is also another resource entitled Still Unprotected Humanitarian Funding for Child Protection. There is also another resource, UNHCR ICRC Aid Memoir, Operational Guidance on Maintaining the Civilian and Humanitarian Character of Sites and Settlements. There is also another resource, Cash and Voucher Assistance and Child Protection in Humanitarian Action. There is another resource, Research Report, CV, Research Report, CVA, and Child Protection Global Study. There is another resource, Training Session, Cash and Voucher Assistance, Cambodia, Phnom Penh, that is in Cambodia, that is PHNONPENH, of January 30th, 2024. There is also another resource, Cash on the Move Report 2023 Lessons Learned from the Ukraine Regional Response. There is also another resource on the front lines, Insights into the State of Protection in 2021. Another resource is Protection Risks, Child and Forced Family Separation. Another resource is Summary of Global Protection Forum Session 5. Guide for Protection in Cash-Based Interventions is another resource from UNHCR. Key considerations for using CVA to achieve child protection outcomes. So CVA, that's cash and voucher. It's about cash and voucher. So toolkit for monitoring and evaluating child protection when using cash and voucher assistance. That is CVA, cash and voucher assistance. Another resource was C4PTF, cash and protection in the Ukraine response. Another resource was C4PTF and CCD, cash for protection in the Ukraine response of December 2023. Learning report. Tool 4, guidance on how to analyze the data, toolkit for monitoring and evaluating child protection when using cash and voucher assistance. Field testing version of April 2021. There is also another resource, RRP C4P Task Force in Ukraine, fact sheet number 22 of December, January, February 2024. Another resource is cash and voucher assistance for CP, case study, Lithuania, Save the Children. Another resource is cash and voucher assistance for achieving protection outcomes in mining action. Next resource was CVA CVA, that is cash and voucher assistance. Technical note, Georgia CVA for CP for the Ukraine regional response. Georgia Save the Children. And then the last resource was executive summary, taking stock of cash and voucher assistance to achieve protection outcomes in the protection sector in humanitarian settings. So Unity 1 was to define the protection. What is protection? Being safe from harm. That is what protection is all about. Protection, violence, coercion, and abuse. You must be protected from violence, coercion, and abuse, minimize threats, and increase capacity to calm. For instance, for refugees, for children. So it's about help keep vulnerable people free from harm. People's safety from harm, that is a fundamental action. Reduce threats or reduce their exposure to threats. Impartial information and analysis about people affected. It's also about to prevent possible attacks. This is actually the work done by embassies and UN peacekeeping. Different organizations coming together to help vulnerable people, people in crisis. So there is what we call the centrality of protection in humanitarian action. States have responsibility to protect people under their authorities, under their territories. All efforts by all actions keeping